Well, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, CL's here. Good morning, CL.
Good morning, CL.
This is CL is Facebook user today. Incognito.
We know who you are. Good morning, Annie.
Hey, good morning, Annie. Beautiful soul. I feel like whenever Annie comments, the way she comments, I think there should be like music to go with it. Oh, there is music. Can you play Annie's music for her good morning, beautiful souls comments?
What, this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning, beautiful souls.
That's Annie's.
From now
intro,
on, we should play that whenever she comes in. Annie's here.
Yeah.
See? Listen, we're fancy. We got sound effects now.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking this morning how much of a blessing this is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That we're able to do this and be able to share these things with people,
Mm-hmm.
and how much of a blessing we've gotten over this past year, right?
Yeah.
Just from talking to people and talking about people's lives and where they're struggling and their victories, celebrating their victories with them, and then seeing how God moves in people's lives. There are people that have been with us from the very beginning, and it's so exciting to see God move in their lives and how they've taken not what we've said,
right,
what God has said,
right,
and really applied that to their lives, and
just watch God work. It's awesome,
and watch the fruit from that. It's an amazing thing, and today it's just I'm just walking in a little bit of, not a little bit, but a lot of
You're
gratitude.
bathing in gratitude.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Despite the dreariness of outside, that's the other thing. I was like, just yesterday, it was blazing hot. Last 2 days.
And it's gross out today. And hey, welcome to Washington. Psych, we thought it was summer. It's not. It's fake summer. Yeah. So here we are in fake summer.
Don't worry. By the weekend, we'll be complaining about the heat again.
That's right, people. Okay, so it is day 2 of our discussion this week, all about what paths we're taking the path less traveled. When there's a fork in the road, which direction do we go? Which one do we take? And then the kind of a little bit of a spin-off of like a summer road trip, kind of we're starting summer, leading into summer, and just taking a little bit of a journey in the Word on a new season, right? It's a new season, but like also new seasons in our life. It's one of those things where we're starting something new. It's kind of time to kick into gear. You know what? I need to do some new things. Excuse me. I need to do some new things. I need to make some changes, or I just need a refresh. Like I just need some fresh things to go on because I feel like I'm in a rut or I feel stagnant. Mm-hmm. So, even emotionally speaking. So this is kind of what we're talking about this week. And yesterday was amazing. So,
as we go through this series, they're bringing out stories, of just this, of the path where people had to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
And then what that process looked like and how we would apply that to our lives.
Absolutely.
So, yes, like you said, yesterday was great.
Oh, it was. CL, you're a huge blessing. You are a huge blessing, sir. Seriously. Absolutely. We get so blessed by all of everything that you're doing too. So it's mutual. Okay, are you ready to dive in? Oh, no, I'm not. I haven't even talked about our links. It's so good this week. I'm just in a hurry. Hey, I should probably let you know.
Slow down.
Slow down. I feel like when I'm on this microphone, I'm a little bit of I'm channeling Barry White or something. Slow down. I feel like, like in the 50s and 60s when they had the DJ and it was just like the announcer voice. Anyway, sorry. I channel that. It's so weird. I'm not used to this yet.
Babe, if you start talking like Barry White, we're gonna have
it's a problem.
We're gonna have some issues.
Maybe I should lay off the hormones.
Yeah.
All right. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna
you need to make an appointment to get
I feel like there's a problem.
All right.
Okay, so first things first. A little housekeeping. A little less Barry White, a little more housekeeping. Our housekeeping. We always have to take care of this. So, number 1, there's 2 links in the description that you need to be aware of. They're important. And one of them is the StreamYard link. If you're watching from our private Facebook group, as you saw, I brought up CL's comment. It says Facebook user. We don't know who that is, but I have my phone open so I can at least see. But I'd like to bring up your comment with your name. So if you would click on the StreamYard link, if you're watching in our private Facebook group for health and wellness, make sure you do that so that I can see your name when you comment and I can bring you your comments up and we can interact with you better.
Or if you choose not to, because you're a celebrity and you want to be
incognito. That's
like,
your prerogative. It's your prerogative. Okay, so then the other link is the YouVersion Bible app link. If you want to follow along on the study source that we're using in the YouVersion Bible app, there's devotionals, and we're using that for the structure of our discussion this week. And so if you want to follow along on that, you can click that link for the YouVersion Bible app. It'll take you to the app. You can download it on mobile or on a desktop computer. It'll just take you to the study itself. No need to download an app. But yeah, these are devotionals that we choose to kind of like structure and lead our discussions. We read these out loud, but also we discuss it for, anywhere from 30 minutes to, hey, feels like sometimes 5 hours. It's since we're just so talkers and over here, I bet it sounds like 5 hours of talking sometimes, but we discuss it and feel like, kind of feel out what's God saying to us through this. So that's kind of what we do with that. But if you do want to go actually follow along on the study, feel free to click that link and you can go follow along there.
Yes. And if you are new to our broadcast and you don't know us, my name is Javie. This is my wife.
I'm Jessica.
And we are with the Underdog Ninja Foundation. Here at the Underdog
Ninja.
Rewind. All right. With the Underdog
Now you're never going to be able to say
exactly.
It. At our foundation,
the Underdog Ninja Foundation.
Yeah.
We believe in three things. These are the three elements that we stand on here, and that is faith, character, and action. Every Tuesday through Saturday morning, we are here live with you on that one key piece, really focusing on that one key piece is that faith. That's our foundation, right? And so, like my wife just said, we have these discussions every morning, Tuesday through Saturday morning, and it's a different devotional style. We go through God's word, and we have a series, usually a 5-day series, every day for these next 5 days. And we're on the second day of this series. And we have a discussion around God's word, around what he is saying to us when it comes to fighting this fight of heart disease. Now, this is focused towards our foundation, our nonprofit, right? We are with Underdog Ninja Foundation. We do other things. We do coach other people fighting other things, other diseases or other challenges in life. But primarily because I'm fighting heart disease, we come from that point of view.
Yeah.
And so in that we have to face a lot of different things beyond our disease. But sometimes we get caught up in just focusing on the adversity that we're facing, whether it's heart disease, whether it's diabetes, cancer, or just a place that you feel that you're stuck in your life. Maybe it's some mental health issues, maybe it's some trauma that you've been through, and it is overwhelming you, and you feel like you can't move forward. And I believe God has answers for us.
Yep.
And sometimes we really have to dig deep to figure out what is it that's really holding us back. Are we allowing our self-doubt? Are we allowing our self-imposed limitations on our life that we can't move forward? And like I said in the beginning, when we went live this morning, I was talking about, we've been doing this almost a year now, and there have been people with us from the very beginning, and we have seen their lives transformed. And I believe our lives have transformed.
Totally. Yeah.
By doing this with you. Why? Because we believe in iron sharpening iron, right? And so we learn from you guys, and we all learn from God. So again, we are here to focus on that one piece to
Right.
start there, and then we that also leads to a better character.
I think we should have like. Sorry, I cut you off, but
Yeah,
sorry.
you did.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying. I think we should have like
So excited. Go ahead.
like hand signals,
Like
like faith, character, and action. No, okay. I'm just pitching that. I don't know. It's just sorry.
do that again.
I was like faith,
Faith?
character, and action.
Okay.
But I should.
You could do that.
I want to watch you do that and not destroy all the equipment.
I know. Oh man, it would be a mess in here. We would be hitting each other.
Anyway, but yeah, so I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry, I stole your glory there a little bit. What you were basically saying is that this is not the only thing that we do, but that this is the time where we really focus on faith.
Yes.
Which leads to our character and our action. Yeah.
But if you want to know more about that action piece, that's why we started our new show.
Yes.
The heart of an underdog. And I can't speak today. I'm sorry. I'm fumbling all over my words today, but we have a new show on Saturday morning at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. And that is all about profiling those people that have overcome these adversities, these stories of their lives, their journey, where they were faced with overwhelming odds, what fighting disease or what have you. Right. And then we also bring in professionals speaking about those issues that hold us back.
We have a couple of doctors coming up.
Yeah, and a way out of that. So that's that action piece, guys. That's that third piece. How do we put that all together? Yeah, we listen to what God has to say. We listen to all these motivational speakers, and we read the books. A lot of knowledge that we take in. But how do we bring it all together and apply it to our lives and take action upon it and see some actual results? And that's the goal of Saturday's show. So if you want to know how to do that, if you want to just start figuring out how I can apply these things to my life, stay tuned on for Saturday morning. Watch that show.
This Saturday we have an interventional cardiologist from the Austin, Texas area, and he is a very experienced individual, but also an amazing human being. And so stay tuned for that, Dr. Rafael Gonzalez. And also, we have another doctor coming up in July, Dr. Mondragon. So and he's going to talk about depression. So really, really incredible human beings coming up on top of everything else that we're doing. So Stay tuned for that. Also, I want to make sure you guys are aware of something. And we should probably say this a few times during this broadcast for people coming in and out. We will not be having our discussion next week.
Oh, yeah.
So
about that.
We are taking a week off.
Yes.
But there's several reasons for that. So next week, it's just not going to be feasible to do it. And we do have some things we're pulling together for our tribe, our followers, and our free groups. So stay tuned for that, because there's some things I'm not going to say anyway that we're putting together to help some people kind of kick into summer gear. And then also we're taking a couple of days off, and we're going to go out of town with their children and actually take a couple of days off, actually off.
Yeah, it's about time.
It's about time. So we're just not going to do the discussion next week. I know that we haven't ever done that, and it's not going to be often, but we definitely need to not have this next week because of timing. So sorry about that. I know that's this is something you guys that you look forward to, and so do we. It was a decision we had to make, though. So, but after that, we have 4 amazing discussions already planned out for July.
Yeah. You know what's great though is if you guys want to go back, you could always go back on YouTube and on our YouTube channel. Yep. We have all these discussions there, the recordings, and you could go back if you want to go back to a series. Hey, if you want to go back to that series on laughter, I think I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones that we have been doing the last few months, they're all there. Check out our YouTube channel.
Yes, exactly. Andy says, maybe you should take an actual vacation someday. That would be amazing. Right? Yeah. You know what? Exactly. where it's in the works. But you know what happened was we planned out vacations before, and then COVID happened, and then we had to like shut all that down, and then it's like the things that we had planned like
we had
just barely reopened.
We had such a big vacation plan
and
before COVID, and then it was
we had a whole thing, and everybody did. I know everybody did, but I just mean that's kind of the reason why we haven't. But we have been taking little getaways to the beach and things, and that's what we've been doing to kind of make up for it. So anyway,
so let's
get going. We've talked enough. All right. Day 2, you guys. You ready for this? This should be good. Let's see. Today we are going to, hold on. My nose itches. Today we're going to look at some of the things that Jesus, the Son of God, our Redeemer, did while he walked along the road. Let's just pause there for a moment because it's worth pausing for. Jesus actually walked this earth. Sometimes when we read scripture, this fact can seem so distant or lost in the pages, but he actually came to earth and showed us the way to go. This is why we study scripture, so we can know him and know how to follow him. So let's start in Matthew 20, 29 to 34, and note what happened along the side of the road. Jesus was walking down a road with a huge crowd following him. I would imagine that there were so many noises and an abundance of distractions. Yet over the crowd, Jesus heard 2 voices begging for his mercy. Jesus hears our cries and isn't swayed or distracted by popular opinion. He will do what he knows is best to do. Read Luke 19, 1 through 10, and note Jesus' actions in this story. Again, Jesus is passing through town, and there was a huge crowd around him, making it very hard to even see Jesus. Yet there was this man who desperately wanted to catch a glimpse of Jesus. The man was a tax collector who was wealthy, but despised because tax collectors were known for stealing money from the poor. While trying to see Jesus, the tax collector didn't expect Jesus to see him. This is so important. Jesus sees us, whether we are hiding or trying to notice him or trying to be noticed by him. He sees us. As Jesus was passing under the tree that Zacchaeus was in, he looked up and called him by name and told him to come down. The people were not happy with this because they did not think Jesus should be associating with a man who stole money from them. After an encounter with the presence of Jesus, this man's heart was changed, and he committed to give back 4 times what he had stolen. This is what being in the presence of Jesus does for us. We don't need to hide away from him, trying to steal a glimpse of him while remaining unnoticed for shame of how we've been living. Jesus said at the end of this story, "For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." Jesus was intent to use his road trips to see people, really see them for who they are and who they could be. Our final stop on this road with Jesus and the crowds leads us to a woman who has known suffering and patience. Read Luke 8, 42 through 48, and note how long the woman had been sick and what happened to her. This woman had been sick for 12 years. Think, 12 years ago, how much life has passed between now and then. 12 years, and this woman was still bleeding. We can assume she had tried everything imaginable. What I love most about this woman is that even after 12 years, she had not given up hope yet. She was a fighter and was also filled with great faith. She didn't even want to bother Jesus to ask for something. In her mind, she knew that her place and his, and she didn't want to intrude. So she came up from behind and just touched the very fringe of his garment, and she was healed immediately. Jesus turned to her. Do you notice what he said? Do you notice what he said healed her? It wasn't his fringe. It was her faith in his presence. What might faith in Christ's presence heal today if you just reached out to Jesus along your road? All right, Matthew 20, 29 through 34 says, as Jesus and the disciples left the town of Jericho, a large crowd followed behind. 2 blind men were sitting beside the road. When they heard that Jesus was coming that way, they began shouting, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." "Be quiet," the crowd yelled at him. But they only shouted louder, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." When Jesus heard them, he stopped and called, "What do you want me to do for you?" "And Lord," they said, "we want to see." Jesus felt sorry for them and touched their eyes. Instantly they could see, and then they followed him. Luke 19, 1 through 10 says, Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region and had become very rich. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but then was too short to see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today. Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. He had gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner, they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord, and if I have cheated people on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much. And Jesus responded, salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost. Luke 8:42-48 says, his only daughter, who was about 12 years old, was dying. As Jesus went to him, he was surrounded by the crowds. A woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding, and she could find no cure. Coming up behind Jesus, she touched the fringe of his robe. Immediately, the bleeding stopped. Who touched me? Jesus asked. Everyone denied it, and Peter said, Master, this whole crowd is pressing up against you. But Jesus said, someone deliberately touched me, for I felt healing power go out from me. When the woman realized that she could not stay hidden, she began to tremble and fell on her knees in front of him. The whole crowd heard her explain why she had touched him and that she had been immediately healed. Daughter, he said to her, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. So while we're going down these roads in life, this new season, it's incredibly important that we have faith that Jesus is for us. He's with us. God is for us. And that's something that it goes not unnoticed, but we just sort of forget that. We're like doing our life and we're doing a new season and we're making decisions and we forget that God's with us. We forget to ask him for his direction. We forget to ask him for his blessing on these things and say, hey, walk with me.
Right. And that's why oftentimes I tell people to get out, get alone, get out in by yourself. You know, I like getting out into nature, and it might just be around the block, but
right.
I like getting out into nature, taking a hike, taking a walk around the lake, or hike up in the mountains, or whatever else. Getting away from all that noise, and oftentimes that's where God really meets me. That's where it's not that God has ever left. It's that's when I hear him speaking.
That's when it's quiet and you can actually
right?
Pay attention and it's not distracting.
Oftentimes it's an amazing, beautiful thing that I've experienced and you have experienced.
Yeah.
And it surprises me every time. It gets me kind of emotional, because there'll be something along that path. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There will be something along that path that Jesus will use as an analogy and apply it to our lives in a moment of teaching.
Yeah.
Spiritually. Okay.
Every time.
And I like I said, I remember there was this time in my life that I was really, really struggling, and I was working really, really hard, and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was frustrated. I felt down on myself, and I did one of these hikes. Actually, it was a bike ride, and I was it was mountain biking. I was going up this hill, and the hill, it had a bunch of valleys and hills, and it was really rocky and everything. And God just spoke to me in this moment where he was just laying out how my life is and how my life's going to be. And there's going to be these moments that I'm going to need to be pushing harder and pushing harder. And it's going to feel very painful at times. But once you summit.
Yeah.
And when I summited this hill, okay, it was really difficult for me. But when I summited, I was able to see this beauty, because it was sunset. It was like at dusk. I was out there for a while, but I was able to really see the sunset and see a bunch of beauty, and that was God's glory. And God just spoke to me in a very special way that day. I'll never forget it. And then I spoke to you guys many times about these different hikes that I've been on, how God has taught me and has shown me what's really going on. He's given me clarity on that road. And maybe for you, it's not, you don't have to go out and take a hike. What we need to realize is God, like what you said, God is always with us.
Yeah.
If we just tune into him. See, he's always there, but we cloud our everyday lives with a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
And we don't take the time to focus on him. And when we do, he has a lot to say to us.
Yep.
About what's going on in our lives today.
Right.
He calls us out. He calls us out of that tree, right?
A kid's song, Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus, right?
Yeah.
I really identify with him because he's a little guy. He couldn't see above. And so he had to get on a tree. So I remember being a kid and climbing trees like that, and that's how I picture it. But really, I mean, God calls us by name, right? Yeah. And then taking from the woman that touched his garment, by simply her faith, by touching his garment, we are healed. There's life-changing moments if you would just reach out to him and touch his garment.
Absolutely. Well, and I love that it says to stop. We don't have to hide from it. Like he sees you, whether you're hiding or whether you're trying to be seen or whether you're waving your arms in his face, like he sees you either, no matter what you're doing, he sees what's going on. So whenever you're stuck, like, maybe you're stuck in the beginning of this season of your life, this season of the year, whatever. Maybe you're stuck in your health, or you're stuck in your business, or you're stuck in a personal situation. Maybe you're stuck mentally and emotionally speaking, through a relationship. I don't know, but you're stuck and you feel like yesterday we were talking about how it's not a dead end, but you're not, it's not a dead end. You're not stuck if you reach out and Jesus can help you through it. It's like that riverbed, where you need someone's hand. Like you can do it, but you just need a little bit of stability. And so Jesus does. He just reaches out and he just here you go. Like we have to walk. I mean, there's times where Jesus carries us through situations, but I mean, a lot of the time we don't need that. We just need to reach out. Yeah. We just need to walk with him. Right? We're walking still, but
it gives us that stability by when you're reaching out to hold someone's hand in that situation, you're there to give them stability. And that's what he does for us. We just need his help for a little stability so we don't slip off and fall in.
Right, exactly. But we're still walking, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So bring up Annie's comment real quick. I don't think you probably.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
You were talking.
Sorry. I was talking too much.
Yes, outdoors. And Annie does walks that you can join her on, by the way. Annie Wright, if you want to follow her, check out her comments below this broadcast, and you can connect with her on her Facebook profile. But anyway, she does walks. She lives in Colorado, and these amazing vistas that she does at these walks where it's live. She does them on Zoom or she does them on a messenger room, whichever. And you're able to join her, so you can either be walking or you could be exercising in your house, or you could just be whatever you're doing. But she just it's good for conversation. She wants to meet you there. She wants to help you kind of get your spirits up, maybe get moving.
Well, what I love about what Annie's doing is that she's sharing in the moment what she's thinking and what she's feeling and what she feels for that day and how we really could apply it to our lives.
Yeah.
I think learning from that, seeing someone do that, I think that is really a great example of what we're talking about this week. So if you want to really see that in action and you want to start experiencing that, I really do encourage you to join Annie in her walks and her discussions that she has along those hikes and walks. She sees amazing things.
Yeah, they're really beautiful, and so you'll be able to see that with her. But she encourages you to walk with her. And it's a few times a week, so you can connect with her and see when those times are. But that's just one way. I mean, we're talking about how Jesus was talking to how he did all these different things on the road. Like this was, a road trip back in the day, right? They traveled from town to town. I mean, they weren't in one place. Hey, good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Mom. I really think, though, everything Jesus did was on purpose. But you know how this devotional started out. It said, wait a second, let's all think about this. Jesus walked on earth. He was present in this realm, on this planet.
Yes.
Okay. And just think about that for a second. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about that, let's think a little bit further. Let's think about how many times are there stories about along the way, people he met along the way,
right?
The healing that he did along the way. All these stories,
part of the journey
on his journey. He walked everywhere to spread his word. Now look, this is the King of Kings, right? He could have had a chariot if he wanted to, but he didn't. God chose to be just a humble man.
Yeah.
A everyday person.
Right. On purpose.
So, on purpose.
Yep.
So he journeyed in that same way on purpose. He didn't live extravagantly.
Right.
He didn't have slaves serving him over and over. He served.
Yeah, he washed their feet. He washed their feet and gave himself not only for the people he was with, but for us. Right.
So let's take a moment of why does the Bible outline all these things that he did along the way, along the journey, on the path? You know, he could have waited to heal people and had people come to him,
right?
In a synagogue or a certain place. He could have had people come to him
at a big event or something,
right? Yeah, and heal. But he often went to them
because God meets us where we are.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that this is in itself not just the moments that we read about,
mm-hmm.
but the action that Jesus took is a teaching moment for us to remember.
And not just that, but this is so clear on, you know, when we're in that new season or when we are starting a new journey, it's not the end goal. Like you said, it's not some event that like Jesus was doing all these things and then the whole story was about some event where he healed everybody. And then there you go. I healed everybody. No, the important pieces were on the journey, on the way, right? Mm-hmm. So remember that when you're on the road trip of life and you're on your journey in your new season and you're starting a new thing or you're starting, new ways of living or habits or whatever it is, you're beginning something new, that the journey is more important than the goal, because that's where we learn all the things. That's where we get close to God. That's where we build our relationships. That's where we personally grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we build our strength.
Right.
The journey is the most important part, not the goal. And it's really hard to remember that because we think the whole point of the journey is the goal, because otherwise, why are we in motion?
Yeah.
But so great. But the goal is there to make sure the journey happens. The goal, it's opposite. We think that the journey is just there to make sure the goal happens, but the goal is there to make sure the journey happens. That's how it really is. The goal is just there as a beacon so the journey actually takes place, so that we feel like we have something we can go towards.
Right.
But the journey is the win. The journey is the most important part. That's what I'm getting from today. Man, that's speaking loud to me today.
You know, the thing is
wow.
That's what our guest last Saturday, Kevin, brought up, Kevin Chong.
Yeah.
He said, you know, he used to be a very goal-driven person, and it was all about the goal. It was all about reaching the goal and succeeding at that goal.
Right.
Now he realizes after his heart attack and how he lives his life, he sees the lessons in the pursuit of the goal.
In the journey.
It doesn't matter whether or not he succeeds at that goal, or if he is able to accomplish that goal. He may fail at accomplishing that goal. He may never do it, but the blessings and the reward are found in the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the other things I wanted to point out in these stories, the people that got the most out of what Jesus was offering along the way on that path were the people that took action. They weren't just bystanders. We can't be just bystanders in life,
Right.
on the side of the road and wondering if God's going to heal us or wondering if God's going to do something in our lives, yet we don't take any action. We don't say anything. We don't do anything. We're just bystanders along the side of the road. It's the people that got up in trees. It's the people that yelled out.
That reached out.
That reached out
Yeah.
for him. They took action.
Yeah, that's a great point. If you notice and you look at all these stories, I mean, God didn't just show up at random people's houses and go, you got somebody sick here. I know it because I'm God. So here we go. I'm just going to heal somebody. Like they needed to have desire and faith for that. Like, you know, he wants participation in this relationship. That's the thing. It's not because he can't do it without us. Please, he's God. He doesn't need anything from us to be able to do what he does and be who he is. Okay. Nothing that we are changes who he is. He changes us, but he wants a relationship with us. He wants participation. So the reason why he makes us do things isn't because he can't. It's because he wants us involved. He wants us to be able to feel what it feels like to be involved. He wants us to feel the growth. He wants us to, it's all for us.
Yeah.
All the things that he does like that is for our benefit. And we have to remember that and see it that way, because otherwise it either will feel or actually go wasted. It'll just be a wasted, effort or time or energy. Or we will have the opposite response to God. It'll be a negative response, just like pain. Either it's a negative or positive response, right? So you'll have a response to pain no matter what. We naturally do. But is it a negative response? Or is it a positive response in that, okay, this is a catalyst to something. This is going to be used for something. This is, what am I getting out of this? I don't want to waste this time, whatever. And so it's a matter of our response, right, to what God's doing. And our response should be an action that garners participation from us on our journey. And just the fact that it's even talking about a journey, insinuates that there's action happening. Like we're on a journey. We are walking. We are in motion. We are doing something. We're not just sitting, like you said, on the sidelines. So the whole entire picture indicates that we're supposed to be doing something. But that's the thing, is that this, especially today's whole theme is, but while you're doing that, while you're on your journey in this next season, be reaching out to Jesus. The last question on this is, what might faith in Christ's presence heal today if you just reached out to Jesus along your road, along this path that you're following? So whatever you're fighting today, wherever you feel stuck, whatever the roadblock may be, what might faith in Christ's presence heal in you? If you just reached out and said, you know what? All right, Jesus, listen, buddy, I can't do this by myself. I'm one person and I really am not God, and I really don't know what I'm doing, and I really feel stuck, and nobody understands me. No one's talking to me. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. I just see a dead end. So, hey, what do you got? Like, I've had that conversation before, and it feels like you're kind of, oh, God's the last resort, and sometimes when you're very first kind of starting to really invite God into all your decisions, it is a last resort. It feels like, well, I've done everything I can. So now I'm going to ask God. We think that we're supposed to show up for everything. And then if we can't do it, then God. But it's really the opposite. We need to ask God first to then help us then do the things that we would have done on our own before asking God. Yeah. Before that. See what I mean? So instead of doing all the things we think we're supposed to do to participate and then asking God, it should be asking God first and then him helping us do all those things. Right? Right.
The thing is I was thinking back into a conversation that I had with God a long time ago, and absolutely changed who I was, and to the core, to my spiritual core. And because, look, we all have different relationships with God. God talks to us all differently, right? And that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Because he designed us. So he speaks to us in our language, in the way we would receive it the most.
You don't speak to your kids all exactly the same way because they're different people.
Exactly. So there was this time in my life I was going through a tremendous amount of stress, a tremendous amount of turmoil in my life. And I asked God. I asked him, what do I do? And at the time, my heart was more, I often talk about, and I talk about this very passionately. Why? Because I was this person. I treated God like a genie. I treat him like a magic trick. He's not a magic trick. He's not a magician. But oftentimes that's what I did. I wanted him to do all the work.
Yeah.
I wanted him to just fix it.
Yeah. Come on, God, let's go.
Right?
Right.
So I asked him, well, how am I going to figure this out? How do we fix this? And I was expecting this magnificent answer, this thing that was mind-blowing. I thought he would give me the answer, and all his response was, I don't know. What are you going to do about it?
Which sounds terrible. It sounds like, well, thanks a lot.
And I was taken back.
Yeah.
I was really taken back with that. But I was very confused. But then he gave me the opportunity just to reach out. And once I reached out, then that's where I got the clarity. That's when I realized, okay, I need to do the work. You'll be with me. You're that hand that he reaches out for us. And we just have to hold on to give us stability.
Right.
And if we have, it's like, it's like being a child. When you're a child and you're trying to learn how to walk, and your parent, your mom or your dad is holding your hand just to kind of give you some balance, and you feel secure in that.
Right.
And, I could do this.
But think about what you just said. That's a great example of because a lot of people will be like, okay, so I have to do the work, but so God's with me, but God really isn't going to do anything for us. Number one, he does things very differently depending on the day. I mean, it depends on the situation. It depends on the environment. It depends on his will.
It depends on our heart.
It depends on our heart. But now I just mean sometimes things are just miracles. Sometimes he does just do a miracle. However, think about having your child learn to walk. Okay. The child does have to do the work. Why? Because they are learning to walk. Like, we're not learning to walk.
Mm-hmm.
But we also can't learn to walk for the child.
Right.
Like, they have to learn to walk. They have to do it the way that you do it. You have to fall down and then get back up and then fall down. And then it's just like riding a bike. Whatever you're learning to do, you have to be the one that goes through all of the ups and downs and the trial and error of actually learning to physically master this skill. Where God is like, well, you have to do it because I can't do it for you. Like, he can't just embody the skill in us. Like, we have to learn it, but we have to learn how to walk with him, right? Just like a child would have to learn to walk with their parent, but then he's holding us.
Yeah.
Right. But he's expecting us to do the work because it's good for us to do the work. Mm-hmm. He could do a lot of things for us, but there's so many things that he can't do for us and shouldn't be doing for us because it's us. It's right. Our actions. It's right. Our impact on others. It's our experience in life. And our experience in life, you said it changed you to the core. Mm-hmm. Our experience in life has to shift. It has to grow, right? We have to go through transformation. And I say we have to. I know that we don't have to, but what kind of life is it if you don't? I mean, think about it as a child. If you never went through any transformation, you would stay a baby.
The skills of a baby.
Right? I mean, well, yeah, but I mean, right. The skill, I guess you would grow, but I mean, if you even physically, like, we have to go through transformation. We have to shift. We have to continue growth. Otherwise our life doesn't have any purpose. And we experience stagnation and decay.
No matter what age you are.
Yeah.
Right. No matter what age you are.
Right.
If you are here living and breathing on earth, you have an opportunity to grow. You're never beyond growth,
Well,
no matter what you think you know. Okay.
Look at the mind, though. Look at the mind.
Hmm?
Like, I'm just sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I just look at the mind. I was just going to say to that is that your mind will actually, it's been proven scientifically, your mind will decay if you don't use it.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't grow, if you're not using your mind for something to actually grow your brain, grow the connections in your brain, I mean, dementia sets in, like your mind will decay.
Yes.
It's not just like a theory.
Right. And matter of fact, therapy for dementia or Alzheimer's is exactly that. You do exercises to help make those connections, to help stave off the effects of that disease.
Right.
But
did you forget what you were saying?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
But my whole point is God knows where best. God knows the true nature of our heart at that particular time, or the season of our life that we are going through at that time, and what we need the most.
Right.
There have been times in my life that God did step in, and it was an absolute miracle, and God did take care of it and took the load and carried me.
Same.
Okay. But then there are times, just like a father would, saying, well, you need to put in some work. Yeah. And I need you. I'll be there with you. I'll be there. We're going to take off your training wheels. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I know you're scared, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to hold you up. But at a certain point, you're going to gain enough strength that I'm going to let go. I'm going to still be there, but I'm going to let go, and it's going to be all you. And that's what God wants for us. He wants us to be at a point where we're sustainable, we're stable.
Yeah. And
we're not always just floundering in this state, in this season of our lives, floundering and not getting anywhere. He wants us to grow.
He wants to be our foundation.
Right. He wants us to succeed. But there are times in our life, and a lot of times it's those painful times when you're about to summit. Everything is hurting. Yeah. You don't think that you're going to make it. You're out of breath, and you've been doing it, it seems like forever.
Yeah.
But you're about to summit. Mm-hmm. Right? And we just want to give up. God, just take control. Lord, what do I need to do? Mm-hmm. And sometimes the answer is, I don't know. What are you going to do?
Right. And the reason he said that to you, I think, is you brought it. I've never, because I know the story, obviously, but we've talked about it a lot. But I never thought about it that way. One of the reasons why he said that to you was because you were kind of in that mode with him, like, oh, what are you going to do? You're a genie.
Yeah.
And he said it
because I wanted him to do all the work. I didn't want to put in the work.
Right. He was trying to shift your mind and be like, well, maybe you should think about you doing something, and then we'll do it together instead of just you always asking me to do stuff.
But then in the very next moment, he offered me his hand.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah, no, yes. I love that. No, this has been so good today because the thing is that on this journey, whatever journey we're on, I mean, one of the biggest things I got out of today, I even wrote it down, was the goal is there to make sure the journey happens, not the journey is there to make sure the goal happens. The journey is the most important. The journey is the goal. The journey is the most important part because that's where all the good stuff happens. That's where we're equipped. That's where we get close with God. That's where we get close with each other. That's where we learn the things we need to learn, right? That's where we gain our strength. I mean, if you're a fitness competitor, the goal might be the tournament or the what do you call them? They're not tournaments, but the shows or whatever. I can't think of it. Competition. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fitness competitor, clearly. But that show or that competition, yeah, it's the goal, but really all of the stuff that's benefiting you happens on the journey. All the training, that's really the good stuff, not the competition. You're just going to be like, this is what I did. And then you get an award.
Let's think about Jeffrey Smith, another individual we've recently interviewed.
Yeah.
Triathlon athlete. Okay. He put his body through a tremendous amount of stress in order to reach that goal. And he did reach these goals, but he wanted to continue doing, he loved it.
Yeah.
But he had to deal with tremendous failure after his heart attack. After he was diagnosed, he had to come to terms with, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. It's something that he loved.
Yeah.
A great feat that he was able to accomplish in his life, and he wanted to continue. And he felt like that was being taken from him, part of his identity.
Mm-hmm.
But what he realized, there were other lessons along that way that he learned, that he's applying to his life,
right,
and that he's applying to the fight that he is in now.
And all that is applied. God's using that, all the things that he was equipped with. It's not a waste. That is all the things mentally and emotionally he's able to, and physically, he's able to apply now in his new situation.
Exactly.
100%. I mean, so God will use everything you're going through for the situations moving forward. And we just have to look for those things.
Right. So I hope this made sense to you guys today.
It was so good. Yeah.
Today was all outlining individuals that got God's attention, got Jesus's attention on the road, along that path. So I hope today you got something from it. I hope God really spoke to your life today where you are. And so where is it on the path that you are on? Do you need to reach out? Do you need to be in action in order to get that clarity that in those answers that you're desperately needing, that God desperately wants to give you?
Yeah.
But right now, are you just being a bystander? That's what I'm receiving today. I don't know what you received. I hope you got something out of today. If you did, please hit like and share this with your friends and family. We would really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this from our YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribing to our Nonprofits YouTube. That's where we broadcast these discussions the 5 days a week that we do these. We broadcast these live on our Nonprofits YouTube channel. So if you want to go over there, there's other resources on that YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe over there so that you can get notified of any future broadcasts. And then also, anytime you subscribe, to a YouTube channel, it increases the viewership and the possibility of more people seeing what they need to see. And so these right here, of course, we would want the most people to see these, because these are going to be what helps people really live their lives to get through the day-to-day. And that's what we're here to do. So when you're sharing these, when you're liking and subscribing, that is your contribution to this movement, to this mission of helping people to find their way and to know that they have hope, and that they aren't lost and alone like they feel like they are, and that God's there and that they have a support system. So make sure that you're engaging there. So we absolutely love all of your support everywhere. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching all the time. Thank you for chiming in and having these discussions with us live. It is an absolute blessing to us. We are honored to be able to have this with you, and we hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.